Okay, so today we're going to be discussing Daughters of Henri, I believe is how it's pronounced. I didn't listen to the audiobook, I physically read it, so I had to look up pronunciations, but if I messed it up, please let me know in the comments so that I can fix it, correct it, say it better in the future. I buddy read this book with Anne, whose channel I will have linked in the description, and I'm pretty sure she's doing a review video as well, so I'll also have that linked whenever it's out. So this is a YA fantasy. It follows two sisters, twin sisters, Sinai and Nala. And they live in a time in a place where it's very dangerous to be a twin because there was a prophecy, an oracle, that essentially said that twin daughters are going to overthrow our big bad, Ezzy. So he goes through and slaughters any twins that are born. So these two girls, they were separated at birth. One was born in the city and one was born in a small village. So this all kicks off, I think it's fine because it's at the very beginning. This all kicks off at the burning of the village and then things escalate and the sisters try to find each other. So, okay, I'm gonna do this 3 pros, 3 cons. I'm gonna do that reviewing style for this book. So that's the basic setup for it. This is all gonna be spoiler free, my 3 pros and 3 cons. So my first pro of this book is going to be in how immersive this writing was. I really enjoyed the way this author brought me into this world, into this culture, into this magic, and everything she described was so tactile. Probably not the best way to say it. I felt like I was there as she's stepping through the forest, as like the moss is changing colors per person according to their mood, the feeling of the marble underneath their toes, everything, every new place they go to, which there's a lot of different environments that we get to experience. Every new place they go to, every time the magic is described, every culture that we learn about, everything is so vibrantly described to the point that I felt like I was physically there. And I love environmental reads. It's not the only thing I want, so like a book that is exclusively environmental won't do it for me, but a book like this that is so physically, I'm there with them. I can feel everything. I can taste everything. I can touch everything. Oh my goodness. I love it. And this author brought me there everywhere we went. My first con is in the big bad, the villain, the one that is the conflict of this book. I really didn't feel much depth from him. I didn't really feel like the Ezzy was built up to the point that I really needed him to be very invested in him. He was just kind of a flat bad guy to me. For me. My next pro is going to be in the characters because both Sinai and Nala are really fantastic characters, and their individual arcs, what they went through and how they changed from the beginning of the book to the end of the book was so nice. I'm very much a character reader, and I not only latched on to our main 2 girls, but I also latched on to several of the side characters. There's an old wise mentor that I fell for. It's a trope that I fall for anyway, but oh, I loved her so much. But then there's also side characters that I hated so vehemently because they were written so well. They were written to be terrible so well. I felt very connected to these characters and enjoyed following them so much. My second con is the pacing. So I really enjoyed reading this book because it was so immersive and because it was so character focused. I really never felt bored. I never felt like I was pushing myself to read it. I was always excited to pick it up, and when I would pick it up, I would just fly through the pages. That said, when the action when something big would happen, that's my stomach growling. When something big would happen, it was like bam, it's here, bam, it's over. It was just very jarring a lot of times. Now, I'll also say this, after I finish reading a book, I do like to look at reviews, and there were a lot of reviews saying that it was boring or the pacing was too slow. Now, I understand that because looking back, the chapters are very short and there wasn't always something happening in the chapters that felt like it made the plot progress. A lot of times it was just peeking in with our characters and getting to spend a little bit more time with them. And it was a very slow progressing book. And with it being a slow progressing book with very short chapters, I can see how that makes it feel like some of the chapters were very unfulfilling. So just throwing that out there, a lot of people do seem to complain that this book was too slow paced for them. For me, it really wasn't, because the world and the magic and the characters and the setting and everything was so immersive that I really liked just hanging out. And the characters I was so into them, I was so invested in them, that just spending a little bit of time with them was perfectly fine for me. For me, there was enough plot that it made me feel satisfied to be able to focus on the immersion and the characters. But that is a common complaint, so I think it should be said here in case you might think that would turn you off. But like I said, the slow pacing, that really wasn't a problem for me. For me, it was the more jarring. It was very, very slow until it wasn't, and then it was way too fast. So I guess inconsistent pacing is really more my complaint. Okay, another pro, and I guess this has to do with the characters, but this book was so motivational and inspirational. There were a lot of really difficult things that these characters had to face against and had to deal with, and I loved watching them process it and deal with it and go through it, and I loved seeing the decisions that they made and the conversations that they had. There were so many things that came up in this book that I found so, I guess, inspirational is all I can say. I really connected with these characters and what they had to go through and the way they handled those things. Tough topics discussed, and I loved watching them deal with it. My final complaint is my biggest complaint, and that's with the ending. Keeping it spoiler free, it was just so fast and so easy and so abrupt. This is, I guess, a piggyback onto my last con, and that's just when something does happen, it's done. It's so fast. And with this book that is a book of build-up, I needed a lot more payoff. So I was pretty disappointed in how the climax happened, but I'm still gonna continue on with book 2. My overall thoughts for this book are a little bit mixed. I definitely have some complaints that are kind of important to me, but overall I enjoyed reading this very much. I thought that it was a really fun reading experience, it's one that I connected with a lot and enjoyed a lot. There are certain execution things that fell flat, that disappointed me, but overall, I enjoyed reading it a lot, and I'm definitely going to be reading the sequel. So there you go. Those are my pros and cons for Daughters of NRI. It was overall a very positive reading experience. I enjoyed reading it quite a bit. If you've read it, please chat with me more about it in the comments. Do a spoiler space so that we don't spoil other people. And if you haven't read it, let me know if you think you're going to. I post videos every Tuesday through Friday. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.